Steve Jobs is shaking things up again. Apple's iPad launches in the US on April 3rd, and it's expected to change the way we read. It's not even out yet, but people are already excited.
Until I get my hands on one, I guess I won't really have the full excitement that many people are having. I do get excited when something like that comes out.
An e-reader is one device that can store many, many books. But with ease of use comes important environmental questions as we switch from paper to silicon. At first glance, it seems like a good idea. Newspapers and books need paper, which can lead to deforestation. Paper production requires a lot of energy and sometimes harsh chemicals. And finally, books need to be shipped, where on an e-reader, you can just download them. Books have their problems, but are electronics really worse?
Most of the stuff that books are made from are like paper products, and usually if you're pretty conscious about that, you can kind of get them in ways that aren't so damaging to the environment. Computers, on the other hand, there's a lot of plastic, last longer.
E-readers like the iPad need electricity to run. Depending on where your power comes from, that can be bad. They are built with a lot of precious metals and rare materials which need to be mined. And some parts of the e-reader, like the batteries, are potentially hazardous materials. Well, some researchers in Sweden crunched the numbers. They found that e-readers beat newspapers, but only if you recycle. So how does it get recycled? And how do we get from this to this? And the big question, does it even work?
Well, all electronic items we can recover 100%. It's full diversion from landfill. If you're looking at a piece of IT equipment like a computer, there's a market for every piece in the computer.
At an e-waste recycling plant like AM Recovery, workers take computers, TVs, and other electronics apart piece by piece. Each component of an electronic device has different metals and plastics in it, so they're separated by type. Each box will be sent off and processed differently. Being green is a good reason to recycle, but it's not the only one.
The goal of electronic waste recycling is to recuperate the gold. That's really what drives this industry. There's other precious metals on the circuit boards that are being recuperated, but essentially this will go down, be shredded, sent to a smelter, and gold will be recovered from it.
We're getting better at recycling, but we're not there yet. So where are all of our old electronics?
If I didn't give it to a sibling, I'd probably just keep it in case the new one broke. I still have an iPod mini from like year 2004 probably sitting in the back of my room somewhere.
Down in the basement, next to the wrapping paper and the other stuff thrown in storage, is probably a box of old electronics. A program has been put in place by electronics producers in Ontario. They now have to pay for e-waste recycling. This new program will ensure more e-waste gets recycled, and the city is throwing its support behind the shift with a new bylaw.
The majority of computers would end up in landfill site. The vast majority of, say, TVs and monitors would end up in the landfill site right now. That will obviously completely change, come with the changing the bylaw where we'll ban it from the curb and not pick it up anymore.
So how will this program affect the consumer?
I just know that when we bought a TV recently at Future Shop, we were charged with a $10 fee for recycling. Somehow, it's the money, the cost of the system eventually is going to have to be borne by the consumer because we're the one who's using the material, and there's no magic solution to handling it. It costs money.
The Ontario Electronic Stewardship program is ramping up on April 1st. Electronics producers, brand owners, and importers will now be responsible for recycling an expanded range of electronic products. For more information on the program, or to find an electronics waste drop-off location, go to dowhatyoucan.ca. For Western News, I'm Colin Schultz.